My name is Tashi Norbu, and I'm the director of the Tibetan Reception Center. And we have a branch reception center in Kathmandu, Nepal, and another branch reception center in New Delhi. And in Dharamsala, we have a transit school run by this reception center. So this office main responsibility is to look after the Tibetan refugees coming from Tibet to Nepal and Nepal to India, So these days we have about 300, 400 refugees coming from different parts of Tibet to Nepal and then to India in Dharamsala. So in a year we have 5,000 to 6,000 refugees coming every year from Tibet to India. 6,000 refugees coming every year from Tibet is, most of them are monks who wanted to study Tibetan, Buddhist philosophy, and some of them are school children, and we send them to the TCV and other schools. And those who are 18 to 30 years, we send them to a transit school nearby, where they learn Tibetan language, Tibetan, history, English, and some vocational, skills. And also among these 6,000 refugees coming from Tibet includes about 20 to 30 political prisoners, those who are released from prison and just escaped to India,
And do they need special help?
And they need special help, and our Department of Health is looking after them. They get some psychiatric treatment, and we give them help for whatever is needed, Every year, so many refugees are coming from Tibet, and it's really it's a very sad thing for us, because they could not live in their own country, because the condition in Tibet is very, very difficult, under the Chinese rule. So in Tibet, the monks, they cannot go to monasteries to study Buddhism, and for the children, they cannot go to schools. But they don't have schools, or even if there's some schools, they have to pay very high fees which they cannot afford to pay. Very, very difficult, and therefore many refugees are in India and Nepal. So we have to refuge them somewhere, and now we have a transit school run by this reception center, about 500 students. For them, we are building a concrete building, and for this space we need for 200,000 pounds. The total budget of this second phase in transit school. We seek money for this project. Kitchen and waters and bathroom to be sent on this. Kazer. Ini khater jinglu ris kharje lawre.
yin no la ka ba jagda.
Yin no ka ba jab shos. Kyusu jag mes la ro. Re.
Ngenzo jag me das yiksi long me das.
Ma piso.
Tatsen to das.
Tatsen to shas.
Tatsen to das. Kepti kirkum na se me chos.
Ale.
Komba tan.
Ya.
Konong komba.
Konong komba. Ale nachul.
Nachin dirihe.
Dirihe.
Dirito.
They are from Nakchu. Gome Mingarza. Kunu Monastery, Nanri.
Could you start again?
Yes.
But can you keep still?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so these two nuns.
These two nuns are from Tibet, from eastern Tibet, from Kachu Nanri. And these two nuns are telling us that the Chinese told them that their nunnery had about 150 nuns, and Chinese told them that there's a limitation, and you except 49 nuns, rest of them should go out. And they were told by the Chinese that they must denounce His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and which all nuns refused to denounce His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And then Chinese alleged that they are going to split the motherland, and then they were kicked out and dismissed from the nunnery, and then they escaped to India. Yavutash. He was dismissed from the monastery, and 다시 해 그러다. 다시 해 그래. 아. 여기 누구 따서? 아니 그 야갈 가르쳐 줘요. 뭐 돈나 가르쳐요.
다사.
아.
다사.
별 다사 요 말해.
별 다사 여기 야부요 말.
가르야고 요 말.
가르 남바 야부터 가요 말.
알레 이 점이 다사 롬좀 제주면 돼. These boys.
Yes.
These boys are monks, and they say that in Tibet, in their monastery, the Chinese don't allow them to study Buddhism, and they don't have even facilities like teachers, scholars who can teach them Buddhism. So Chinese also don't allow them to study in the monastery. So they were kicked out from the monastery, and they ran away to Nepal and India, to get admitted in a monastic university where they can learn the traditional Buddhist philosophy in India, much.
Yes, please sit down. So, Mr. Tashi, what is the story of this boy?
단다 민카레 별 가르치네 누구다 송만 가서 돼서 놀이 시에나.
나 지금 우리 담배로 재미야 무슨 공부나마. 대남서 가서 다 접시 저랑 접시 밴드다 저때 저다 밀 저자서 되는 때네.
고면 민카사.
고마 장 빠져.
He is from Yangtze. 이네 너도 시중당하나.
장 빠져.
몇
저는 이제 대접되네.
이게 때문에 별항생 거있어.
얘가 잘하다.
Ex-political prisoner. His name is Minghasa. Lobsang Sherab, and he was a monk in a Yangtze monastery. And in 1990, Chinese arrested him and imprisoned him and tortured him because he said that Chinese came to know that he tried to distribute cassettes of about the situation of Tibet, true situation of Tibet, and on a cassette from in India, he distributed to many people, and he also the Hina Kharches live. And he said that he distributed the speech of His Holiness in a cassette, he brought from India. He distributed among many people, secretly. And also he posted, letters, about independence of Tibet in different places, and he also told many people about our true position, our history, and everything, So Chinese came to know about this, and then Chinese said that you have done something, which is against the motherland, and so he was arrested and imprisoned and tortured for 4 years. prison and he was first imprisoned in Shigatse Tsonga Minghasa Nyari Tsonga, and then in Lhasa in Tabji prison for 4 years.
And what did the Chinese do to him?
Jami 가르쳤어. 정관날 누구 가르쳤어?
정관날 통만 지면에 돕지 맞았어요. 계속 제가 전에 되게 파람산 되는데 소소 내마시다 고스 강자지 낚시하지 헌거 없네. 또 진짜 플랑시.
He was chained with both feet and both his arms, and hands, and the Chinese chained him, and he kept in the solitary confinement for a number of days without food. And and he was confined in a dark room and without food for a number of months. He was kept there, And Chinese interrogated him what he did, who are his accomplices and friends, who did such things. And he was kept without boot, without shoes. And he was served a vegetable which was cooked so many days back, and a little bit he was given, 다 누구 현다 땅 시, 저기 정관나 동소. Then he was beaten by the Chinese, and when while interrogating him, and he was kicked, and beaten mercilessly,
된데서 다 그냥 가면은 더 추던 거였어.
So in Yangtze prison, he was in such a situation. He was in prison for 4 months, and the rest in Lhasa, Tapji prison in Lhasa. Then he Kadullos.
절신에 그 담발네 그것이 진짜 입에서.
So he was relieved from Tapji prison in 1994 February. Then lost him. And then for the remaining 3 years, he had no right. He was deprived of the civil rights. And then he was not allowed to walk or to go with other people, and because he was deprived of the rights,
저 공부를 대하면 저 시그때다 직 탈이 있어라 지금 소선 직 야지 뭐 싶어 가서 다 공주스나 째고 thế thì nàng té được những là chỉ số sự nếu sự khá là mà thứ tự là
and he has to report every month to the Chinese police where he goes, where he lives, what he does. This way for the Losum River. 3 years he had to do like this. This should.
This should là thế nào ngara chỉ cho công bà ta thì số thế mà sẽ chỉ riêng nhà trang lộc thì lộc sát trò san mình sẽ chỉ
And then he said that in Tibet he don't get job, he don't have a facility to study, he can't join monastery, so he was helpless, and then he secretly escaped to India.
Okay. So Tashi, why did he do these things, knowing that he could be caught and imprisoned and tortured? 저날 주그레 동그레 두땅그레 근데 하 고글이야 표랑생 이기 자야 다 됐다 가르친 제마스
이제 알아 그저 삼는 매미기 들어야 나는 별 포만이 아직 표랑생 이마티 겨울에 저게 같이 봐서도 까나요 태 알아서 표에 다 이게 연결돼 지 재미 생활한 즉 도전 땅 미표미리 지 정유미에서 됐어 재미 망부 야 별. 또 별이 되게 소설 농발을 소설 사제 도제 밑에 소화지 오면서 재미 다지 내가 된다 제고 가서 아주 별이 이제 소설 신뢰 제도 소화자 되면 락시네 소설 조사면 강에 망고도 체 제나네 즉 벽에 인내 로전 시험에 즉 소설 취대 취도 시험에 점시 자도서.
So he said that Tibet was an independent country, and he knows this, and when Chinese came to Tibet, the Tibetan people became their slaves, and Chinese occupied our land. We became their slaves, and we don't have the chance to go to monastery to study Buddhism. We don't have a job. We don't have proper facilities, and our life condition became very difficult. So he thought that he must revolt against Chinese. Otherwise, the Tibetan people will suffer. So he, knowing that, he revolted against Chinese. Our village is near Nepal.
Just one second.
Yes, this mother, she's from Tibet near Nepal, and she brought all these 4 children crossing rivers and mountains, and brought to India because in her village there's no school where children can be admitted, So she brought her children with great difficulties to India to get admitted in the schools nearby, so that her children can get some education. So after getting admission, then she will return back to Tibet. She's a farmer, Oh, he's a father. He's a father and mother, and the children. So both of them brought to children. They are brought to India to get education. So this poem they brought from Nepal reception center.
바스키
내가 이거
아
내 야요
바스 캐스티아라 기에 버리 매
제가 봤을 내가 이거
그래
We have two nurses here, and one has gone to look after the heart patient in Delhi right now, and one nurse has gone to another hospital to help the newcomers. So this is our dispensary where we just give them treatment.